Los Angeles, with nearly 10 million people, is the most populous county in the United States. Here in this city of asphalt, wildlife has a surprising presence. Parrots, colorful and noisy, have colonized and made their home in different corners of Southern California. Their presence has surprised and captured the attention of many residents.
Most parrots are highly social. Their vocal repertoire is quite varied. They learn sounds from each other, even from other species. They also, just the way they manipulate their food. There's just a lot of parrot qualities that people find endearing.
But how did they get here? Where did they migrate from? And why is there a large population of parrots?
There's various urban legends about how these populations formed. Some people say, maybe a pet store burned down in Pasadena. And I think there is some truth behind that for maybe founding that Temple City flock of parrots. For the yellow-headed parrots, some people point to the Bel Air wildfires in the early 1960s. So I think all of these urban legends may have some truth behind them, but there's no single event that led to the parrots in LA. It's been numerous events, and then with individual birds joining them when they accidentally or sometimes intentionally get released.
It's the pet trade that's responsible for why we have parrots here, both legal importations, literally by the hundreds of thousands from the 1960s through the 1980s. We brought them all here. They didn't fly here on their own. They weren't blown up by a storm or anything like that.
They adapt well to their environment, feeding on fruits and seeds. City parks and gardens offer them a plentiful buffet.
It probably has a lot to do with how much is planted here. There's a lot of shade trees and a lot of orchards. A lot of this used to be agriculture with fruit orchards, nut orchards, and remnants of those orchards are planted or remain in many gardens and parks and streets around here. So that's just more variety for the birds to eat. And although there are parrots in much of urban Southern California, the San Gabriel Valley has the largest populations.
The Parrots of Los Angeles are a reminder of the diversity of life that exists, even in the most urbanized cities, showing the adaptation of nature to our environment.
In fact, the whole coastal slope of Southern California, ideal habitat for birds from many parts of the world by planting trees and shrubs that provide seeds, nectar, berries, fruits.
How many species of parrots have made Los Angeles their new home?
In terms of the species that have actually established populations here and are nesting and increasing, there's about 8 or so, plus a couple of others that seem to be establishing as well. So maybe as many as about 10, possibly even a couple more than that.
The most abundant species of parrots come from Mexico. In their country of origin, they are in danger of extinction.
The two most common species here in Los Angeles are the red-crowned parrot and the lilac-crowned parrot. Some census efforts place their numbers in the city here in the thousands. Red-crowned parrots, maybe as many as 5,000 birds. And that's a big contrast with their numbers in their native range in Mexico. So those numbers in Mexico have crashed from 100,000 birds to maybe as low as 5,000 over the course of the last few decades due to poaching for the pet trade, ironically, the same thing that brought them here to LA, as well as habitat loss.
Surprisingly, however, they have proliferated here, taking over our urban areas. They are not invasive to the native species of Southern California.
So the parrots are not really considered invasive here in the city. Invasive species are ones that are clearly causing harm to the native environment and potentially like spreading out of control. The parrots here are considered non-native in the sense that they're not a natural part of the environment. They've been brought here and introduced. But as far as we're aware right now, they don't seem to be really harming any of the native species. They're coexisting side by side, and they're using potentially even resources that are not utilized by native species.
So the next time you see or hear a parrot flying through the skies of Los Angeles, think about their history and how they have chosen to be a part of our community.